All right, so please join me to make welcome to the microphone with Jesus Joy, our brother and friend, a member of CGMI as well, Dr. Emmanuel Akpe. You're welcome, sir. God bless you.
The Lord is good. Hallelujah. I'm happy to be here again. And I'm happy to see your beautiful and handsome faces. Thank you, Reverend, for this opportunity. I appreciate you and your wife for always giving me a platform. Getting a platform is not easy. You know that. So if you see one, you thank God for it. So today we'll be looking at a very important topic. It's about the book I wrote, which I released last month, and is selling very, very fast and wide, titled Death in the Pot. Death in the Pot is not a book to condemn your food. It's a book to talk about your eating habits and your cooking habits. So look at some of those things. My slides will be up very soon. Everybody knows me, so I don't need to introduce myself. Yeah. So I have a quote here by Hippocrates. It goes this way: before you heal someone, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that make him sick. Let me read it again. Before you heal someone, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that made him sick. You know, there was the first pastor seminar that I spoke on. Mama called out for healing, and a lot of people came out. Pastors came out. She prayed for them, and they were instantly healed. You know, when I came up, I now told them that the sickness can come back, not because you don't have faith, but if you go back to those things that made you sick, you'll still be sick again, and you still come to Mama for more prayers. Did the prayer work? It worked. But what happened? You went back to those things that made you sick. So a lot of people running helter-skelter today are running helter-skelter, but they don't know what made them sick. So the title of my book is from 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 38. At least media can put that up. The story about Elisha and the prophets, sons of the prophets. So let me read it out. One of them went out into the field to gather herbs and found a wild vine. Listen very carefully. He gathered some of his gourds and filled the fold of his clothes. When he returned, he cut them up into the pot of stew, though no one knew what they were. Can you imagine? Went into the field, gathered some herbs to cook stew, but he didn't know what it was. Same way, we go into the mall, buy things to cook for our family, but we don't know what it is. We don't read the labels. So this man forgot to read the label of what he got from the supermarket and cooked it. Look at what happened. The stew was poured out for the men, but as they began to eat, the crowd cried out, "Oh man of God, there is death in the pot." He didn't say the food is not sweet. He said there is death in the pot, and they could not eat it. Elisha said, "Get some flour." He put it into the pot and said, "Serve it to the people to eat." And there was nothing harmful in the pot. So what Elisha did was to remedy the situation, to recover the food so they can eat it. You know, the cells of our body is what eats, not when you eat, it's not you that is eating, it's the cells of your body. And let me shock you, there are some people that are eating, but their cells are starving. So the food is going to the body, and it's obvious, you can see that they are getting bigger, but the cells are not eating because the cells are covered with what is called lipoproteins, phospholipids too. So those are things that cover the cells. These are fats. So if you are someone who consumes animal fat would be what would cover the cells. So because it is called saturated means that nothing can go through. You understand? So if the cells of the body is covered with saturated fats, nutrients will not be able to go through. So the person will be eating, but the cells are starving. And when the cells start misbehaving, the person will end up in the hospital. So like this analogy, your cells are shouting, "Oh man of God, there's death in the pot." But you, the man of God, you are consuming it because you don't know there's a problem. Your cells are crying out. A friend of mine went to the hospital and she did a video of the hospital, and it was like a crusade ground. These are people that are consuming food every day, but they don't know that it's what they are eating that is sending them to the hospital. Stress and food. I hope my slide can come up so at least people can see pictures. It was giving us problem before, but I hope it's sorted. Consuming heavy metals, fatty food, sugary food, refined processed food can induce stress in the body. So I'm calm. I'm not overworked. I'm not under pressure. In fact, I'm a full-time housewife. If there's anything like that in UK, I doubt. So I'm not under any pressure. Yet, I'm under stress. What's going on? So it's the food that you're eating that is sending signal to the body that there is stress, there is death. So in response, all these responses that you have during stress will begin to manifest. Things like cortisol being released, cortisol will be released. And once the cortisol is released, it increases your appetite. So if you see someone who is eating anyhow or not mindful of what he eats, you see the person always consuming sugary and fatty food. Because when you're under severe stress, what does your mind tell you? Drink a bottle of soda. Go for snacks. You understand? That is what your mind tells you. It's not coincidental. That is what your body is craving because of the impact of stress. And this cortisol then moves the fat into the belly. So you see a lot of people with big stomach and big waistline. It's because cortisol have moved fat to that place, because that's where it stores fat. So the body is eating, but the cells are not seeing the food. Chronic stress can lead to nutrient deficiencies. It can actually exhaust the nutrients in the body. Have you noticed that when you're under severe stress, you start feeling dizzy? Especially if the problem is very serious. You can even start sweating in snow. Yes. So when that happens, the body is consuming the nutrient at a very alarming rate. So that's why when you're under severe stress, don't depend on food alone. Add food supplements. Because the nutrients are going. Emotional stress can trigger an allergic reaction, which can cause fever, difficulty in breathing, digestive disorders, and all that. You know, in the intro of my book, I wrote a story about a bishop who, I was doing internship then, and this man just they rushed him into the hospital, him and his wife. The man was talking, shouting, "I shall not die but live." His wife was also praying. And, of course, we started taking care of him. In the next 30 minutes, the man just packed up. Yeah. It was later discovered that he had allergic reaction that led to an anaphylactic shock. So, these people thought, the wife didn't believe that all the things medical people were telling him how was true. Her belief was that an arrow was shot from the village. And that is why the husband... Because this thing is like film trick. I can be talking to somebody and instantly the person is gone. And do you know some of the reactions we are having from food, allergic reactions, we don't even know what it is. You will eat beans and you push throughout. You don't know there's a problem. You eat wheat and gluten is giving you serious problem. You don't know what it is. You just feel, it's like my body, I'm not feeling my body. After some time, it wears out. But if the main attack comes, that is where the problem is. I wish they were showing some pictures. I would have been so grateful. So, there is what is called living food and there's what's called dead food. I've explained this before. Living food is a food that is still alive. If you plant it, it will germinate. Dead food are mostly overcooked food, processed food, refined food. You understand? Most of these things we see in the market, they are all dead food. It's dead because there is nothing in it that can give you any meaningful nutrient. There is nothing there. They are highly processed. So, and these are the major constituents of what we eat. Mostly what we eat are processed. From your bacon to your sausage to all, name it, they are all processed. And most times we go for the canned product, leaving the natural ones. Do you know that every natural product has a canned version? Yes. People even package stew and egusi into cans now. And other people are eating it. So when believers eat this food and they fall sick, they now start blaming God. How did God package these things? It's not God that did it. It's ignorance. Sometimes a little knowledge can save you millions of naira. A little knowledge, or millions of pounds, or thousands of pounds, anyhow you want to call it. So if you go to a mall now, or a shopping mall, maybe like any of the malls around, you will see dead food session and you see living food session. Where do people go to? Dead food. You will see the fruit, vegetables, nobody's going there. Everybody's rushing to dead food session. And we are wondering what is wrong with us. Most times, if women have hormonal imbalance, most women tend to have hormonal imbalance. That's the common sickness among women. It's mostly linked to processed food. Yes. I'm sure they are hearing you. So, there are some toxic chemicals in food and vegetable. When I was promoting this book, I was posting pictures of the food we say is healthy. Bishop can bear me witness. And people are shouting, how can you say this is dirt in the pot? Picture of correct vegetable soup with semo, heavy one. How can you say this is dirt in the pot? There's no dirt here. What I see here is life. Because people tend to be defensive when you tell them that what they are eating is wrong. Yeah, it's natural. So how can you tell me that the food that my grandfather, the great-grandfather ate is wrong? People tend to be defensive. But it doesn't help you. If our food is right, why are the hospitals filled up? Why are people sick if we're eating right? And have you noticed that anytime somebody decides that I want to change how I eat, the person starts getting healed? Have you noticed that? Anytime somebody who is sick says that, okay, I want to stop eating junk food, I want to start eating healthy, things begin to change. So that means there's a problem. There are some toxic chemicals in food. The first one is what is called MSG, monosodium glutamate. We all know that. A very toxic chemical that is found in all seasonings. All seasonings. In fact, it's written there, it's not hiding. So if you carry any seasoning, any of the cubes, just look at it, you see MSG. So if you are someone who consumes it in high amount, maybe you want to cook a pot of soup and you are adding like 3-4 cubes, you are in serious trouble. What does MSG do? It goes to the brain and excites the brain. So the brain commits suicide. The brain cells begin to commit suicide. It's called excitocin. You can Google it. Excitocin. So when the brain cells start committing suicide, the person goes into depression and some mental health disorders from the food they are consuming. So another one is butylated hydroanisole, BHA, found in processed foods, cosmetics, which causes hormonal imbalance. For women, if you are getting your cream, make sure you know the constituent of what you are rubbing in on your skin. Because your cream can actually penetrate through your skin to affect your liver and your kidney. Do you know that? A lot of women are having liver issues. It's from the skin. They didn't eat anything dangerous. But the cream they use went straight to the kidney and it's causing problem. Sodium nitrate is something that people use to brighten the color of meat. So if you get a meat that is almost getting bad, just drop it in a bowl of sodium nitrate. It turns red. Yes, it appears fresh. So you go to the market, you see it nicely packed and all that, but you don't know what is making it fresh. Causes cancer of the colon. So it's used to process most sausages and hot dog, even bacon. That's what they use in practice. And it's written there, it's not hiding. They're not hiding it. There's another thing that is called aspartame. Aspartame is a sweetener. Sometimes people say, I prefer sweetener than sugar. You are deceiving yourself. It's like saying, I prefer Satan to devil. It's not the same thing. What's the difference between Satan and devil? There's no difference. So aspartame, or your sweetener, has three main components: methanol, phenylalanine, and aspartic acid. Methanol is a major component of embalming fluid, which is formaldehyde they use in embalming corpse in the mortuary. Yes, and it's part of aspartame. So it causes memory loss, blood vision, and even leads to depression. You see that there's a link between the food you are eating and how you feel. So if you're someone who is always feeling bad, you're always having low mood swings, you should check what you are eating. Your husband is not the problem. Yes, it's what you are eating. So most times we are reacting as if it's someone that is causing the problem, but it's what you consume that's actually causing the problem. Another thing called sunset yellow. Sunset yellow is found in all orange drinks. You know, it's not orange that is in orange drink. Do you know that? It's not orange that is there. It's sunset yellow. So, and sunset yellow is carcinogenic. A lot of things are happening. Somebody bought, I don't know if you heard this story. It happened like 10 years ago, but nothing was done about it. Somebody bought Coke and Fanta from Nigeria and imported it into UK. So when, at the border control, they decided to do a test, and they saw that the level of sunset yellow in the Fanta was more than what is required. And if you check the drink here and the one we have over there, it tastes different. So this is a lesser poison, that is a higher poison. They are all poisons. If you want to test what I'm talking about, take a bottle of Coke, pour it into a glass, get an insect, butterfly, any insect, drop it in it, count 1 to 10. Before you get to 10, it's dead. Do you know why? Because it's very acidic. So we are consuming something that the body does not like acid. The body likes alkaline. You understand? Because the blood is almost neutral, 7.0 pH. So anything that draws it towards the acidic part will start causing trouble for the body. That's why your urine is mostly acid. You know that? Because the body is trying to remove acid from the body. So you consume more acid, the body is crying, death in the pot, and you're still swallowing it. There are some bad cooking habits that I've noticed among us, and we should work on it. That is mostly what I wrote in the book too. Excessive oil usage. You know when you're making a goosey soup, if the oil is not floating as like River Niger, you will not eat it. So the oil is just so much. Even when some people do jollof rice, if you go to the bottom, you see oil floating at the bottom. We are consuming more oil than the body needs. High salt content. Most of the things we use, the canned food, are mostly salty. So we consume so much salt content, and it raises the blood pressure. Overindulgence in carbohydrates. Let me analyze this now. You know, in the morning, you take bread and tea. As a rich man, I'm not talking about a poor man now. You take bread and tea. What happens in the afternoon? Yam and egg. In the evening, you now take swallow. What have you eaten? All carbohydrates. And because when you get to a particular age, your body does not need so much carbohydrate, what happens? It starts converting it to fat and storing it in the body. So until you burn it, it doesn't go. You have to burn it for it to go. Sweetened beverages, I've talked about that. Skipping meals. So sometimes people forget to eat. I was shocked when I heard that. Do you know people forget to eat? They say, I was so busy today, I've forgotten that I didn't even eat anything. Or more, there's serious dirt in your pot. Because how do you forget food? How do you forget food? It's surprising that you are so busy, you forget food. And you are forgetting that if the body is not alive, that work will not be done. And immediately you collapse and they say, somebody is no longer breathing. Do you know what happens? The next person takes over immediately. In fact, I heard a story about a doctor that did surgery for 72 hours. I think I posted it on Facebook. At a stretch, 72 hours was operating on somebody. And do you know, after the operation, on Sunday, he still went to church. It was in church he collapsed and died. Yes. So, what happened? It overstretched the body. And you know when you are doing surgery, you might not be able to eat as the way you are supposed to, you know. So the body is weak. And you know the funny thing? On Monday, another doctor has resumed to cover him. They won't say, hospital will not operate because somebody died. Is it done anywhere? So the reason why you are alive is for your family, not for the workplace. I was doing a training yesterday, and I told them that the day you retire, you discover that your office people didn't like you. So in some places, you can't even go to the office again. I'm telling you. So, and you spent your whole life in the office, you didn't attend to your family. So by the time you get home, you're a stranger. And as a man, you are complaining, my children doesn't love me, my wife doesn't. Did you love them? So everything is not about money. So portion control is another thing. Eat small portions. Don't eat. Okay, I want the media to show the picture of food. I think it's one. There's one food I want to show you. Yeah, no, not this one. Not this one. The egusi. Yeah. So somebody posted this on Facebook. So somebody posted this on Facebook and was saying, "This is my dinner." And I said, "Oh, this is suicide. You're about to commit suicide. Because if you can conveniently consume this and you are okay, even the devil should be scared of you." So there's what is called portion control. Portion control is ability to eat small portions. You tell me that if I eat small portion, my stomach, I'll still be hungry. It's because you have expanded the stomach. So when you start eating small portions, the stomach starts shrinking. After some time, just a handful of food and you are okay. Because your stomach has returned to size. Okay, let's move on. Food supplements. You know, the food we have as we have it now, it's not complete. All the nutrients are not there. Do you know that? It's that we have overcooked it. So we are not getting all the nutrients. So you must supplement it. I have some personal supplements I take. This is not network marketing, so don't be scared. You know, I take probiotics for my gut. So probiotics replaces the bad bacteria with the good ones. There are some bacteria in your digestive system that should help you absorb food. And sometimes your stress level, if you have a high stress level, the bacteria can switch to the bad ones. I just learned that. So your mood affects the bacteria in your gut. What I do is to take probiotics. I just take 1 capsule a day and it's enough. Either you take 1 million bacteria or you take 3 million bacteria. Any one of them, they are all good. It's actually bacteria, but it's a good one. So you just take it in. Then I take a cod liver oil. You know that once you're above 30, you should be taking omega-3. It helps your brain to function. It also helps the body to function as it should. Because you are not getting enough omega-3 from your food. That is a fact. And also for men, I want to give you a secret. I also take zinc. I was discussing with Reverend yesterday. Do you know that if you want a healthy prostate, zinc is your best bet? Because the prostate produces zinc. So if the body, and the food you are eating, of course, it doesn't have enough zinc now. So if the prostate doesn't have enough zinc, what does it do? It will enlarge. So in an attempt to acquire more zinc, because it's overworking itself, so it will just become enlarged. So scientists have discovered that if you take 50 milligrams of zinc every day, your prostate will start shrinking. And you will not have issues with it. Even my son is just 9 years old. I've started giving him zinc. You understand? Because every man has prostate. Whether you're a baby, 1 year old, there's still prostate. As long as you're a man. So he's going to live a life without having issues with prostate because his father knows what to do. So, very, very important. I have another picture of food, if you can go to that. And you know, when we are eating, it's as if we're enjoying. I remember my wife in those days, you know, I was explaining to Reverend yesterday. It took me a while. Okay, I think it was Mama. It took me a while to be able to convince my wife to stop the way she was eating as a single and start eating healthy. So after eating, show me the next picture, yeah. So after putting food like this, my wife will get a bottle of Orobo, Fanta. And when I'm looking at her, yeah, just clean yourself, she tell me that life is good. Enjoy while you can. So one day, she came down with ulcer. That ulcer was terrible. We were entering the hospital, running into the hospital here and there and all that. That was when healthy living now started. So, but she had to endure pain because the ulcer pain, when it comes, she will always almost be rolling on the ground. Do you have to feel pain to live healthy? You don't have to. You don't have to suffer to feel healthy. Many people will be blaming God, but it's not God. The next picture shows you how healthy food should look like. I'm not saying this one is not healthy. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So some women will not go and fight their husband. They say you should not eat swallow again. You want to cause a commotion in your house. What I'm saying is the quantity and the way you are cooking it. A lot of women cook egusi and they cook the leaf. You're not supposed to cook the leaf. You're not supposed to cut it before washing. You're supposed to wash it before cutting. And after cutting, you just sprinkle it on. Immediately you sprinkle the leaf, bring it down. So at least the first time you eat healthy food. So when you now microwave it, you cannot start eating dead food. But at least the first day you ate living food. You understand what I'm talking about? So this is healthy. So what I do once in a while, I rest my body. I do water fasting. I do fruit fasting. Like there was one that I posted on Facebook and I asked people to join me. I said people should join me on getting mint. There's mint, mint leaf. It's everywhere. So put it in hot water and leave it for 5 minutes. Then drink it. It will detoxify the body. Not every day 3 square meters. If 3 square meters is not complete, you are not okay. You are overloading it. But at some point, the organs will start failing because they are overworking themselves. Hallelujah. Food, stress, and aging. There's a link between food, stress, and aging. I hope we know that. Because food can stress you, and stress can make you age fast. So, there's chronological age and there's biological age. Chronological age is your age in years. You know, chronology is time in Greek. So, your age in years is your chronological age. And biological aging is how fast your body is aging. So, if you eat food that is not healthy. Have you noticed I start having gray hair? You start having gray hair from the food you are eating because the food is causing the body stress. So, heavy loads of food can actually cause the body stress. How does it do that? The process of digestion is stressful for the body because the body is consuming so much energy to digest your food. So, if you give the body an overload of what it should digest, it is your liver and the kidney that will suffer. Then I have a picture. If you can go to that picture of effect of stress on the body. Okay, yeah. So I just want to show you the impact of stress in the lives of these former presidents. You know, they have the best food. Do you know that? They have the best water. And sometimes they forget to eat. I watched a movie that portrayed how the US president works. They walk around the clock. They are always alert because there's always one problem or the other to solve. So, at the end of that stressful period, without proper eating, see the effect of stress on George Bush. Within the age of 8 years, he added extra 30 years to his life. And Obama, the same thing. So, I don't want to go the other way. You know what I'm talking about? Because there is a country that I know, the only country in this world, that the president started as an old man and retired as a young boy. And another old man has taken over, hoping to retire young. So, there is something that eating does and supplementation does to your body. Scientists have discovered that when you take more vitamins, especially vitamin E and vitamin C, the rate at which your cells are dividing slows down. You know you are getting older because your cells are dividing at a very fast rate. So that's why you're getting older. So if you take so much vitamin, especially vitamin E, you see that your skin starts shining. Why? The rate at which the cells of the body are dividing slows down. So I have vitamin E capsule. You know it's in oily form. Capsule, you can take it once a day. What I'm saying in essence is that you can't survive and grow healthy without supplementation of your food. Hallelujah. So the next picture shows us how we want to age. And it's a question. Do you want to age gracefully or you want to age painfully? I asked the question on Facebook and everybody said gracefully, gracefully. But it's not by saying it. It's your action that determines whether you're going to age painfully or gracefully. I have seen graceful aging and I've seen painful aging. Graceful aging at 80, the person is still bouncing. Person is still walking, no walking stick, going to the farm, doing stuff, and at 80. I've also seen painful aging that at 50, the person is already on the floor. Very sick. And I've seen a situation where children's lives are paused because their parents are sick. I had a friend like that. At the age of 30, she was 30, the mother fell ill. And from 30 to 40, she was moving the mother from one hospital to the other. So finally, when she was 40, the mother died. And I told her that move on with your life. So imagine you being an obstacle to your child. That is what painful aging is. And I experienced what pain means. You know, there are some people that are living with pain. They are living, there's nothing they can do about it. I remember one time I wanted to pick something from the floor and my back just snapped. It was very painful. If not that I applied my own medicine on myself, by now I know I would have visited the hospital. I took a few therapy and within 1 month it was gone. So let's go to my offer. This is death in the pot. This, what I just explained to you now, is 1% of what is in this book. Just 1%. And I know I'm talking about. I have so many testimonies from this book. People who understood what they were doing. Because you need to know what you're doing wrong to be able to correct it. And their lives are no longer the same. There's a total overhauling of their life because they got information. And I say it everywhere. If you want to change a man, give him information. There are some people in this same UK that are doing better than us because they have the right information. There are some people that are suffering today because they didn't get any information. So I've spoken in some places. I remember a time I spoke among judges in Abuja, and one of them asked me, I said, this information that you just gave me now, as mean I met you 10 years ago, my mother wouldn't have died. Why? Because everything I said was what the mother was doing. So, and that was what the problem was. So we can pinpoint everything we are doing in debt in the pot. And it will happen. And the good thing about this book is that it's a story. So it's not those medical books that you just read and you don't understand anything. So it's a story, it's a conversation. It's as if you are reading a novel. So, and the information are passed in between those stories. And that is why it is different. So I'm giving you at £10 instead of 15. And of course, we know that I have other books. The next slide. One of them is 40 years but trapped in a 70-year-old body. Yeah, this one, you can be 40 years, but your body's 70 years. You know that? Because, so your body has aged. Okay.
I just want to say, and there are people that have the right information, but you know it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, many of them are here. Do you know that? Yes, one of them are listening to me now. Immediately they leave that door, the information will disappear. That is where we do things. I sold a book to somebody, and the person dumped it somewhere. And the person's son went to pick it and started reading it. Do you know the son that is just 14 and started correcting the mom? The mom, you don't cook this way. Look at the way you cook. You don't do this. You don't look at the way. The mom was like, what are you talking about? And he said, I got the information from this book. So the mom went back to read the book and started calling me. there was information in the house, but she could not access it. I have my books on Amazon. You can follow me on Facebook. Because of our time, thank you so much. I appreciate it.